Hello friends, welcome, nice to see you again. My name is Kiki and you're joining me again on this channel, and we'll do stuff when I feel like doing stuff. So for this one today, we are going to start my very first 24-hour challenge. I've been on a book slump for the last 3 months, and I think Netflix and Disney and Stan have a lot to do with it. I've read The Tenant by Frida McFadden in my last vlog, and that book got me out of a slump. The book itself wasn't a 5-star book at all, but it sparked something in me, and I'm very motivated to read. We are approaching a very cold weekend, and it's going to be a long weekend as well. We don't have anything planned but a birthday party and a couple of sleepovers coming up with friends coming over, and it's freezing. So I'm actually going to put a fire on, get cozy, and get a whole bunch of books and read. I'm not going to be splitting it in 12 and 12 or staying up for 24 hours straight because I love my sleep, but I will be pausing every time I stop reading. Okay, so I've got my little tablet here, and I got my tablet set to 24 hours. So let's crack that open. Okay, so I've got my 24 hours tablet. Let's start and test. It works. And pause. Perfect. So that works. Hopefully the kids won't touch it and mess up my time. Fingers crossed. So some technical difficulties might be coming my way, but fingers crossed that they're not. The first book we're going to start off with, which I already had a little bit of a kickstart. I'm literally just 20 pages in. It's book 3 of Flesh and Bone series, What Lurks Between the Fates. Book 4 is out, and I'm really keen to read it. And before I do that, I said to myself, unless I'm up to this series and I'm almost there, then I will buy book 4. I'm gonna do my best. So let's see if I can update you in 1 hour and see how far I've come. Quick little update on my reading journey. You can see I'm sitting in a car. 15 minutes I'm laying on a couch. 15 minutes. I read 25 pages in 15 minutes. And school calls me because my daughter hurt her arm, so I have to go and pick her up early. If you're a mom, you know. Hello friends, it is the next day, and I thought I'll give you a little update. I got to read a little bit more this morning. And we have paused at, hold up, I'll show you, 22 hours and 40 minutes. So we are just 1 hour and 15 minutes over, and I'm on page 147. And that's actually surprisingly good. So I'm reading about 100 pages in 1 hour. Flying. So let's read a little bit more. Hello friends, welcome back. I have officially finished our first book for our readathon, What Lurks Between the Fates by Harper L. Woods. This is a continuation. This is a book 3 of the Flesh and Bone series. And it's continuation of our character name Estrella. Just looking at the names so I don't get it wrong. And again, I don't want to say too much in case you haven't read this series, but there's some old characters coming back to life, and well, not coming back to life, I mean coming back into the story, and then there's some new characters that rise up, and obviously talking about you know, the bonds, the love. There's so much love, there's so much, you know, betrayal. With this though, they don't really move around much, so there's only kind of like one location pretty much throughout the whole book. The thing I enjoyed about this book the most out of all three, and I'll give this one a 4-star, this one was so much faster to read. I am currently, and I'll show you how fast, this book is 450 pages, I believe. Yeah, 450 pages, and it took me 3.5 hours to read it. So we are just 20 hours and 23 minutes in. So 3.5 hours I read this. So I was reading about 100 pages an hour. This is how easy I was flying through it, considering other books, book 1 and 2 was a little bit slower pace. And there was a lot more dialogue, and I love dialogue. I don't like too much explaining of the world, but I respond better to hearing people having, like, hearing in my head, but reading people having conversations. It kind of brings the story a little bit more to life to me, and I read a lot quicker. I kind of can create like the time frame and the storyline a little bit easier personally. I know some people don't like that, but I personally really enjoy dialogue. So, and this was a lot of dialogue in this book, and I think that's why I really enjoyed it as well. And it was quicker reads. I do like the font, I like the floppiness, I like the cover. I love that they stayed with the similar color portfolio throughout each book. That makes it very pleasant on the eye when you place these books on a bookshelf. I'm going to leave it at that. So 4-star, I'm going to go update my Fable app, and our next book, our next read is going to be Collide. I actually got that today by accident, but look at this cute cover. It's a special edition. And I was like, cute. And the thing that caught my eye was Emmy Reed's. She was reading this book, I think, or Spiral. I think she was reading Spiral, and then she was like, okay, I'm gonna go read Collide, because that's the first book, I believe. Oh, before I go to that, can I just say one more thing about this book? So much spice, but it's kind of like same spice, so I kind of skimmed through the spice part as well. Maybe that's why I went a little bit faster. Okay, so back to Collide. So the thing that got my eye is I'm not a big college romance, and I'm not big on hockey romances. I feel like they're all the same. Okay, I feel like having a nice quick read, and I think I'm gonna fly through this one. I don't know why, I have a feeling. But the thing that caught my eye was that I haven't read The Deal, but The Icebreaker. And the YouTuber that I love, Emmy, she loved that book. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a go, because I do trust her taste. So I'm going to get cozy on my couch, put the timer on, and start reading this very aesthetically pleasing book. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My daughter is singing. So I'm occupying her room at the moment while she's having a little singing party. So we've completed Collide, and first of all, the pages on this book, I really like them. They kind of like they're a little bit like not thick. They're not thick, but they're a little bit like rough, and I love that feeling. It's like a recycled paper. That's what the feeling of recycled paper. And the sprayed edges, I think this is the first book I own with sprayed edges, and I think that's it's just so satisfying. And I think that's what got me to buy this, because I see it everywhere, okay, and the sprayed edges. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it, because it was only $14 at Kmart, and I'm glad I did. I really loved it. It's like this close to 5-star. I just don't know. I think it's not a 5-star because I can't relate to it, I guess. The 5-star is where you can like put some either bits and pieces or some part of the story. I just can't watch. Or some parts of the story that can resonate with you, and you kind of like, I totally know how they feel. With this one, nothing. It was just purely entertainment. We have two characters, Summer and Aiden. And Aiden is a hockey player, and Summer is a literature major, I think. And she is in this kind of like not internship, but she's trying to like get her paper going. So she gets this opportunity from a professor, and it's different in the States to Australia. So it's kind of like they get, like only like 5 interns to like impress the professor so they can go and get like accommodation and get into a program at specific university. That's what pretty much she's trying to do. Now, she needs to interview him and get like research, psychologist, that's what it is. And she needs to get like a research done from him. And he got in trouble from his coach because they just keep partying all the time, right? So he's this like playboy. And obviously the banter between these two is amazing. It was really entertainment, and again, entertaining, and again, I really enjoyed the dialogue. There's just so much dialogue, so much going on, and there's like little side characters. They are freaking hilarious as well. So I'm guessing the books that are coming up, like Spiral, it's probably going to be friend of either Summer or Aiden. The spice is spicing. I feel like this was a little bit more spread out. Like, it gives me icebreaker vibes for sure. I just love writing better. I have never heard of Bel Cabra, so I've actually really liked their writing. I really enjoy it, and the spice, like I said, it was spread out. It's nice because it wasn't kind of like icebreaker. It was more towards the second half, like the 75% into the book. Whereas with this one, I think I love the build up to the hit of the moment as well. And I love that it wasn't like straight into lust and they think they're in love. With this one, they literally agreed to just not be in love straight away, I guess. Like I can understand this is a little bit more like realistic. So we started this at 20 hours and 20 and a half hours left, I think. So I've completed 380 pages and I have 16 and a half. So yeah, I read approximately 100 pages an hour so far. So I've completed 2 books and we've covered 7.5 hours. So 2 books in 7.5 hours, which is awesome. So I still got 16 and a half to go and I don't know what to read. So let me go marinate on it and decide what I want to read next. Just a little update on what I've decided to read so far. I was so tempted to go to the shed and pull out some books because I'm like, I feel like reading fantasy. But then I'm looking at my bookshelf and I'm like, no, my goal this year is to complete as many unread books on my current display shelf as possible before I set up my big shelf and pull all of my books out on display. So one of the next books I've decided to grab is this one. I've had it for over a year. Century of the Shadow by Aurora Aska. I'm really bad with names, so I am so sorry, Aurora, in advance. But this is a fantasy, but it is also spicy, and I did not know that. I thought it's gonna be more the vibe of The Circus, which I started reading and haven't finished yet. So it is totally different. So in this book, we are following main character Harrow. She is part of the circus. She is a fortune teller, so she's a scryer, but also she's not a human, and everybody thinks she's just a fortune telling human. But there's a past behind that. She is kind of hiding away from people, but there's a few that already know. So there's been a creature that's been caught by the guy that runs the circus, and this creature's in a cage, not shed. What was it? Shed, not in a shed. The creature's in a cage, captured, and it's just that she has some sort of connection to it. We are on page 164. We're doing well. And it's 15 hours and 9 minutes left. So we've been reading for 1 hour and 20 minutes. This font is really big. Look at this font. It's actually pretty big. But then the book is pretty big as well. I do like the floppy book because right now I feel like, sitting down and it just kind of flops out to the side nicely, which I love. Good morning. It's the next day. We are officially on Monday. We started this vlog Thursday. And it didn't go so well because remember, I had that school pickup that I had to go to. So we are on Monday now. It is public holiday, but I do have one class that I'm going to teach this morning. And then I do a few things at work, and then I'll be back home. And I'm hoping that today can be a relaxing day as well. I'm just going to focus more on stretching and reading. So we're going with the reading update. I'm at page 264, and we're still on Century of the Shadow book. And a little update on our... And we are at 14 hours and 17 minutes left. I understand why people are giving it such a low rating. Comparing to other fantasies, the writing is not fantastic. Yeah, the writing is not overly complicated, and it feels like I'm talking to you right now. It feels like someone's telling you a story, but it's not in like, once upon a time there was this fairy, there's magical. No, scratch that. It's like this. Once upon a time, in a small village behind a hill filled with flowers and rainbows and cute fuzzy animals, lived a girl with long brown hair, full lips, and white skin. You know what I mean? With this book, it's like this. Once upon a time, there was a town, and a girl with brown hair lived in it. Her name was... That's it. That's the type of writing. I'm enjoying it though. I don't know. I really, really like it. I just lost the page. No, come back to my finger. My finger is a bookmark today. I said English is my second language, so sometimes I want to read books that are not overly complicated to read. The ones that I can literally just read for entertainment and just put the puzzles in my head and get on with my life. But some books are so hard to put together. I reading them forever and I'm like, ugh. But those are good for my brain. Like, I get it. You know, we all got different. Hi guys, I finished the book. I'm eating kiwi fruit. And yes, I eat kiwi with the skin on. And it's a vibe. It's a vibe. We've got the fireplace on. It's so cozy right now. We've got the candles on. And we're going to discuss our book. Okay. So let's have a look at the time that it took me to complete it. So I finished it 13 hours and 24 minutes. So it took me about 3 hours to read that book, and that book is almost 400 pages. But I tell you, the writing feels very amateur. I haven't read anything else from that author. But I actually want to try. And like I said before, that book is something I would write. Like, I'm not a great writer. And the words are very scattered. But for a person with English being second language, very understandable. But it's kind of like, he jumped off a building, but eventually they got there in the end. And then yesterday, they decided to jump off the building again. And because of that, he hurt his leg. It's that kind of writing. It's, like I said, it's not very poetic or explanatory. It's very basic, very, very basic, very high school almost. We're gonna keep reading. So next thing, I'm really craving some romances, and I don't know why I have that time where all I want to do is read romances. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going with our readathon, and I can't believe how long it's taking me because it is Monday still and it's 4 p.m. So we are sitting at 13 and a half hours, and this book is, what is it, almost 400 pages as well, isn't it? 350, yeah. So our book number 4, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, oh my gosh, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, and we have 13 and a half hours left. Hey guys, a little update on where we're sitting at with our book. I am at work, so I have half an hour. I think I'm gonna sit down, have my coffee, have a little read, and first we're just gonna do a quick star. Let's do star jumps. Come on, let's go. You gotta get up, you gotta move your body. Let's go. I'm gonna do some walking lunges and some squat jumps. And some high jumps. You can go read.
Mama, I'm sending tummy 3. Actually 4.
Okay, I want to update you as I am halfway through the book already, and I am loving it. I love that it's in the same space. So the harbor and the romance between a bookstore girlie. Now, when the book began, I think I liked it because I can resonate with her. She likes quiet days, she likes puzzles, she loves books. She doesn't really do much adventures and stuff like that. The adventure part, though, I can't resonate because I love my adventures and I love going camping, I love going hiking, I love traveling. But to balance that out, I also love to be, I'm a homebody as well. So, and more like school holidays is where I love to get out and spend time with my family and also see new places. But our character here, she's like almost 30. So she's hanging out with the harbor owner, and he's 25. So she's like, I need more adventure in my life. So he's like, yeah, cool, I'll help you with that. So then I end up doing all these things, which are, for most people, are like basic things like going to a carnival, and, you know, going to the beach at night. But for her, it's something that's like new, and she doesn't really do those things. So it's really cool to see her get out of the shelf. The spice is spicing, but it's not too much. I feel like it's like, you know, a normal healthy spice, like nothing like completely extraordinary, and it's not like too boring. And I like it that it's not lusty. I like it that they didn't make it spice, that boom and fell in love with each other after first time kind of vibe. So I'm hoping that I can complete this book by the time it hits 10 hours left. Dude, this is taking forever, this readathon. I didn't realize how long it takes, but I'm really enjoying it because it gets me to read more. Actually unwell, and this challenge is taking us for absolute ever to complete. I did this on Thursday last week, and it is a Sunday, so it's going on 10 days now. We still got 10 hours left, so I think this is gonna go on for 2 weeks. The next book I picked up, so we finished. Did I give you even a review on Cinnamon Bun? So where did I put it? I think I put it away already. So let's talk about the cinnamon bun bookstore. I give that one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's so cute. I think I already spoke about it, right? I think I did. It's super cute. I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed the characters, and it didn't take that long to read. The next thing, I decided to have a break from romance, and I decided to finish Bed Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book 4 in the Natural series. That's where a bunch of teenagers have their own unique abilities to solve crimes. Okay. I think I'm officially way lost with this challenge. I think it's taking me like 4 weeks now because I got really sick and I didn't read for like a week and a half. Seriously, this is I need to finish this. So, a little update. After I've completed the other book, I was sitting at 9.5 hours left. Now we're sitting at 7.5 hours. So for the last 2 hours, which has been broken up in little 15 and 30-minute intervals, I couldn't decide what I wanted to read. And I'm actually reading 2 books at once. So I decided to read The Throne of the Fallen by Gary Maniscalco. So I read her The Wicked trilogy. I think you can hear my voice is still not 100%. And I quite enjoyed it. I thought that was really cool. The Curse of the Wicked. This is Prince of Envy. I think that's his story, and Camilla is the artist. So far I got through 90 pages, so just a little bit of chunk here. And I started another book, The Wrong Bride by Catherine Amora, and I've got book 3 as well, but these can be don't have to be read alone. They stand alone in the series of this family that in order to get the inheritance they have to get through like arranged marriages by their grandma. And so this is book 1, and then I also have book 3. And for this one, I got through 120 pages. I actually saw this at the shops 2 days ago when I was picking up my lay-by of 12 books at least. And I saw this and I was like, this looks good. Bloom Publishing is amazing. I love every single book that I've purchased from them so far, and I love the covers, and they tend to put this really beautiful illustrations on their pages. Again, looking at about 100 pages an hour that I'm reading so far, and we have 7.5 hours left. So in total I should be able to read about 700 pages, which works out well because our Throne of the Fallen is, I think it's 550, and we're already almost 100 pages in, so let's say about 5 hours of reading time of this, and then I think I've got another like 2 to 3 hours reading of The Wrong Bride left. And I'm reading between the two because I actually really want to read some good fantasy, get into some, you know, some a little bit more intense fantasy than the last one I read. And I've had this book on my shelf for so long, and I have book 2 as well, and kind of want to start something that I can escape into, but I require more focus because it is book 1 where they built the world, and I need to kind of understand what's going on. I used to not be able to read a few books at a time, but now I can read them 2 or 3. As long as they're different genres, I'll be totally fine. Okay, I thought I'll give a little update. I'm almost fell asleep, but we are sitting at page 219 and reading The Wrong Bride. I am at 6 hours and 22 minutes left. And drama. This book is drama. It's like watching rich people problem drama, like literally mindless. There's like, it's just repetitive plot. I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours, and it's a build up of tension. Okay, a quick little update. We have completed The Wrong Bride. We have completed it. Yeah. Exciting stuff. I could be a little bit more excited because we've only got 5 hours left, y'all. 5 hours left. That means I can read somewhere probably around 500 pages. So great news for the next book. But first, let's discuss The Wrong Bride. So it took me about about 3.5 hours to read this whole book and 120 pages of the other book. This book is 400 pages. The Wrong Bride, it's just smart. It's just smart. It feels like the main guy character, Eris, I just feel I don't trust the guy. Okay, like he jumped from one sister to another, engaged to one, jumped to another, and now the sisters have feud, and one of them is like messed up in her head, but then he is the common denominator, like he is the problem here, and he's like, oh, I love you, I'm yours, but then he was saying the same thing to the other sister. If it was me, I probably would have said no, but they secretly were like in this love triangle anyways, and a lot of money involved, like this huge inheritance, and money rules. For some people, money rules everything. It's this like love affair thing going on. Let's talk about the writing. The writing is very basic. There's a lot of dialogue going on, which I love, but the dialogue is basic. It's very much like, you're mine, I love you, you don't have to worry about it, but then everybody's jealous, and rich people problems. Like, there's no trust, but yet they're like, oh, you can trust me with all my heart. I would say I would give it 3 stars because I was entertained, and it was super easy, and it served the purpose of what it needed to do for me for the reading part. I'm not obsessed with it, but I enjoy it. I think for people who are getting into smut might enjoy this. It's not too crazy. It's just a lot of kind of basic smut that you'll find between couples. Okay, we're showered. It is 5 p.m. and I have 5 hours left to read our book. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to complete it today, but we're going to try our best. And let's see where it takes us. Alright, I'm giving a quick little update from yesterday on the Throne of Glass. We've reached part 3, Seduced by Darkness. Okay, we're officially halfway through. Okay, so I do have about 260 pages left, and so far I'm actually enjoying it a little bit more. So Camilla is in a deeper journey with Prince of Envy, King of Envy, and they trying to discover why she is the way she is, pretty much. So I have some theories, but again, I don't want to spoil it for myself. I do enjoy the writing now. There's a little bit more dialogue going on. I don't like when they over-explain the scenes. I know that some people do enjoy that. I feel like my attention span is very short. So when they over-explain certain things, I'm kind of like start fading away, and very hard for me to picture it. But it's just me, personal thing. 3.5 hours. So I don't know if you guys can see that. So about 3.5 hours left and about 250 pages. Going well. I'm excited. We're almost done. Yeah. We're now home. We've showered. And let's get at least half an hour of reading done. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day and it's freezing. It is so cold. So cold, y'all. I got so cold last night. It's 6 in the morning now, so I was like, okay, let's sit down and have a little reading session. And my tablet is dead. It's dead. I tried to charge it, and I think it got too cold. To be honest, I think the battery either really flat. Yeah, I think the cold really drained my battery, that I have to actually leave it on for like all day to recharge, or it's dead because yesterday was funky. But I got to read a little bit last night, and a little update on where we stopped. We on page 338 and chapter 43. And I have 3 hours and 7 minutes left. I remember that much. I remember it because I was talking to my daughter about it. Alright, Throne of the Fallen. I want to give you my thoughts before I complete this book. It's a little bit different to what I expected. I thought it'll be a little bit more fantasy. Like it is. There are fays and vampires and like the demons.
But it's just a lot of smut, like a lot of unnecessary smut. Like I get when smut weaves into the story, but this I feel like they're trying to fill in the blanks. Like out of this whole book, at least easily 100 pages of smut that doesn't even have to be there. Like they start revealing some like little secrets, or like get you to like think about something, get your brain going, get your brain ticking, and then they just ruined it with putting a smut scene in there that just like you just totally interrupted my train of thought figuring out who is actually Camilla and understanding the storyline by putting smut in there. You just ruined it. I'm going to put a timer 3:07. Yes, okay. Okay, I thought I'll give a quick little update. We on page 400 and I have 2 hours and 20 minutes left. Still on Throne of the Fallen. So we have about 150 pages left until I'm done with this book. I'm liking it. I don't know what happened in this last 50 pages, but there's a little bit more clue to Camilla. There's a little bit more connection between her and Envy. There's other characters that kind of exposing themselves as well. So things kind of fall into place. Again, I can't say too much because then I'm just telling you the whole point of the story. But I like it. I like that they put a little bit of spice in there, but they haven't ruined it like before. And I was like, please don't ruin it. And I also like how they give us crumbs of their past life. So there's other characters that come in and they're having like flashbacks of the past for what happened between them. And that gets me very intrigued. I'm like, oh my God, what actually happened? And I want to know. And either we get exposed in this book or we get told in the second book. But whatever it is, I'm kind of, remembering these little scenes, and I'm trying to like kind of memorize them so that when the throwback comes and explanation comes, it'll gonna be super exciting to find out. Yeah, hopefully we will know what's happening, but we're almost done. We're almost done. Hey guys, I am sick. I am currently unwell, so we're going to try and finish our last 2 hours with page 412 and in chapter 52. Okay, we finally completed Throne of the Fallen. And guess what? We have 1 hour spare. But I think I'm going to finish the challenge here. I'm not going to use that hour. And I'm actually going to use that towards the Bad Blood book because I've already started reading it before this challenge. And the amount that I've read is about 1 hour worth. So we'll just make it even at that. Throne of the Fallen. I'm going to give this 4-star. And let's have a quick chat about it before I wrap up this video, and I'll do the wrap up tomorrow. Prince of Envy, which is one of the brothers from Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, he's trying to find, I think I've spoken to you about this, he's trying to find a painter named Camilla who's part of the puzzle that he's trying to solve. And along the way, they fall in love. So there's a lot of smut in here. And I've been talking to my friend about it, and I'm finding that if they didn't put unnecessary smut, I think this would have been a way better book, and I still still agree on that. I've completed this now, and I feel like we can take 100 pages out, and it could have been a way better book without too much smartness. I hate it. I enjoyed it. 4-star. Let's give it 4-star. I think that's fair. So I'm going to leave it at that because I'm actually feeling a bit yucky again. The Throne of the Fallen, 4-star. I will do my wrap up tomorrow.
All right. We're back. It has been weeks. My cat is snoring. Can you hear that? It has been weeks. It has been weeks since I've done this challenge. That 24-hour challenge took me a month, you guys. A month. So I read 24 hours in a month. Sounds about right, because then it gave me an idea of how many books I read in a month. And I had a lot of things going on in my life that I had to kind of distract myself, and I knew that July is going to be super busy. And to be honest, I haven't read not one book this month. The books that I've read for my 24-hour challenge, we read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We read 6 books. Let's just say 6.5. I feel like I'm missing something, so if I am, apologies, but let's just stick with what we know. So, What Lurks Between the Fates? Like I said, this book is very hard to keep up. No, it's not hard to keep up. It's just, it's okay. It's basic for me, but I did give it 4-star. Because every time I look at book 2 or 3, I look at it as continuation of book 1. When I look at book 1, I don't try and judge the rest of the series, because this book 3, by far is the best book out of the 3 of them. But it would make sense because they needed to break down the story. So I like how it is progressing. Obviously, it's book 3, but some stories don't progress. So I do enjoy the progression, and I do enjoy how our character has discovered something about her past, so Estrella. And for some reason, I'm struggling to read this quick. I'm kind of slow reading this series, even though it's really not that complicated. Giving this 4-star. Clyde. Got the special edition. Kind of came across. That's all that was, with sprayed edges. I'm giving it like 4.5. Let's just say that. It was short. It was sweet. I really especially loved the pages. Like, it looked like recycled paper, and it was like very cute to hold. And I liked both of our characters. I thought they each had something to offer to the story and something to offer to the relationship. And I really like how it kind of progressed. It wasn't too immature. And I really like this more than Icebreaker, because people saying if you love the deal in Icebreaker, you'll love this. It's true. I feel like I enjoyed this much better than Icebreaker, to be honest. Then I decided to jump into Next Fantasy, Century of the Shadow. The reviews on this book is horrible. This is writing of a high school student. I still loved it though, because this book served the perfect purpose of me wanting to read a fantasy book without having to think too much or do the world building, kind of escape into the characters and into the world without fancy writing. So it did the job for me. I'll give it 3 stars. I feel like people who've never experienced with fantasy and finding it hard to process fantasy information, I would say you might enjoy this. This is kind of like what you'd read a basic rom-com, but in fantasy style. All right, next again we went to romance, and I got the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. So cute. I have the collection. I think the Christmas Tree Farm for Australia, like for Kmart, I think it's gonna come out in like Kmart and Big W closer to Christmas time, I think, because all of a sudden all these 3 books, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe as well, and the strawberry, whatever the hell, what is it called, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, I have that one too. And it's the Dream Harbor series, but you don't have to read them in order. So I love this book. I give it 4.75. I think it's very close to a 5-star. It was cute. It was fun. I love, again, the character growth. I like how both characters serve the purpose. And I really love Hazel. She's so cute. She's so, like, innocent. And she's just trying to get out of her shell. And I think, in my opinion, even though, like, I'm not so vanilla like Hazel, but I can relate to her on so many levels, and some little quirky things I can relate, like staying in on a weekend, like that's my vibe. Like, I feel like if you're the person who is not really a homebody and kind of like loves to go out and party, you probably read like, oh yeah, cute, but can't really relate to it. Then you kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I just read a story. You know what I mean? All right, the next one I read and finally finished a series, you guys, about freaking time. The Natural series. So this is Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is book 4. Book 4 and the last book. I started reading this, and I call this as a half a book because I was already halfway through when I began reading this. I wanted a little bit of mystery, but I didn't want anything too crazy. And I finished this off. I'll give it 3-star. I think out of all of the 4 books, I enjoyed The Naturals, but I think Killer Instinct, book 2, was my favorite. And then we finished off with the last book. I actually got that, and then I came home and read that at the same time. The Wrong Bride by Catherine Amora. Again, it is one of those a series that you don't have to read the book in order. So this is like a billionaire problem life. This is exactly what I needed for drama, but this drama is not like how to say, it's not sarcastic drama. It's like, this is something that can happen in real life, but it's like an arranged marriage situation. I still love in here, but there's also so much privilege that you like, really, like, at some point I got pissed off at all the characters, and I was like, you guys are like really getting on my nerves. But I'm like, but I think that was the point. So I think this book did its thing, and I'll give it 4-star, I think. Overall, I'm very happy with the reads, and I think for my brain, I have to break it down to do like romance and then fantasy, romance and like mystery, and then fantasy again. Like, I need to break up the genres. I can't just read. If I read fantasy, at one point I remember I read like 5 fantasy books in a row, and the last one I was like, this is so repetitive. But it wasn't anything against the book, it was just literally like the fantasy and the phase and the rules and all that kind of like same, so it becomes like one world. I'm just exhausted and I'm just blabbing, and I think because I haven't read anything for 2 weeks, this kind of inspired me to get close to my books. I'm moving house, so it's been hectic with renovations and trying to like renovate while you're still living your life and while you're still working. So I will have a little renovation video coming up later. And for now, thanks for joining me. Once again, 24-hour challenge, my very first 24-hour challenge. So I shall talk to you guys next time. Thanks for joining me. Mwah.